all independent. So, we put everything together ourselves. We booking shows ourselves. We go rent the cars ourselves. We drive into Florida. We drive into Mississippi. We drive into Alabama. We drive into all these places. It was just us and the first version of Bando, which is my boy Jon, his brother Craig, who was the cameraman, then me, Joe, Chad, Carlos, and DC and Chico.
Damn,
We'd all be in the Airbnb, bro. You know what I'm saying?
that's
we,
insane.
we was all in the Airbnb, but it was just building that camaraderie. You know what I mean? And in the Airbnb, Jon, who was the band leader, he would pull out his guitar, and them niggas would just sit for hours,
Hmm.
talking shit, making songs, whatever. And it just built up who they are now as a unit for 85 South. Because they've been doing this. They gonna do this whether it's a camera on them or not.
Right.
Put the camera on them. You know what I mean? So people get to see the stuff they do, and it just started growing. It started taking off, and then my partners Chad and Joe ended up leaving Steve Harvey Radio Network, and so we couldn't use the studio no more. I was still there. I'm still there, but they was like, "Oh, we can't use the studio." So I'm like, "Damn!" So we had to find a place to go real quick. We found, if you're familiar with that clothing line, God is Dope.
Mm-mm.
They make T-shirts based out of Atlanta. It's super
Okay.
dope T-shirts. We went and we filmed a show there. So from there, we had to find a place, and then we got to the places we call the track now. And but it was a blessing in disguise, like the silver lining in getting kicked out of that studio is now when we're doing the show, they were able to smoke. So now when they was able to smoke, it got realer. And
Mm.
niggas is like, oh, bruh, they smoking and
Right.
everything. And it
Right.
started to going faster. So it started to blow up quicker once we got out of Steve's studio. And that's crazy. So, from there, I mean, fast forward to today, we bought a building like last year. We got our own studio now, 7,500 square foot, Channel 85 Studios. That's about to open before Christmas, probably by Thanksgiving. We about to open our own
Congratulations.
studio, bro. Thank you, bro. So yeah, like God is good. We keep God first and we keep hustling, bro.
And it's just incredible because you guys are, and I know them days too, because a lot of radio people, we did the same thing in terms of not just like with the podcast trying to use the time in these little studios to make something happen, and
Yes,
you
sir.
made something happen to where now you guys are selling out stadiums, changing the face of comedy. And so what's that been like to be a part of that, and how's the response been with like traditional stand-up comics seeing you guys really do like the improv? Is it hating
Yeah.
from stand-ups, or is it all love, and what's that been like?
Well, I think initially, um, some of the older comedians, because it's like anything else. Like, just for example, if you look at the NBA, some of them cats, like in the 70s and the 80s, they played the NBA, but they had jobs. You had a job on the off season. Look at the NBA now. Steph Curry making what, 50 million a year?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it is different now. The money's different. The NBA is global, so it's different. Now with comedians back in the, I don't know how they feel now, but when we was first getting started, some of them was feeling some kind of way because DC and DC was one of the cats that started like on social media roasting people on Instagram or whatever through Vine, then Instagram. Some of the older comedians didn't like that. Some of the comedians were getting shine, blowing up on social media. So they was taking a little offense. I don't think they never really tripped on DC or Carlos or and DC put his time in on stage. Los Ben put his time in on stage. Chico put his time in, and Clayton. They all put their time in, but there was a little, time where we was hearing things about social media comics. They ain't no real comics, and some of them are not. If you do skits and all that, and then somebody hire you to go do some stand up, that's different. Ain't
Right.
nobody gonna be no stand up without putting in your time doing stand up, getting that mic, going on that stage, and figuring out how to make people laugh.